Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online at ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But, hey, sometimes people miss things, and they need to have the ability to catch up. Find those things. Thankfully, we're here to help you do that. Go to ESPNTallahassee.com, and remember, after the show, we'll post it on iTunes and in our own audio vault, and it'll all be brought to you with limited commercial interruption, thanks to our wonderful podcast sponsor, Carlton Dean, and the fine folks at SVN. Making you money in commercial real estate, baby. CarltonDean.com. Email the show if you want. It's JCS at 979ESPNRadio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app, mobile devices there. You're good to go. And we're on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're doing well. Go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. You can watch us perform the show. Man, you know, this morning was one of the first mornings, Tom, that I did that thing that we do in football season. Just every day, another reminder of why, golly, we just are slaves to football and we love it so much. Sure hope they start fixing concussions. We can't have this thing going away.
That's what you thought of this morning?
Well, a little bit. That's not what I thought of this morning. But I was engaged in something this morning that involved me just reading incessantly about football. And it's the first time this year I've done that, where I'm up early and I'm sipping my coffee as I want to do. And I'm just kind of, it starts real casual. You read a little bit about, maybe you go back over to see if you missed anything. Not that there was going to be anything big in practice yesterday. It's shorts and T-shirts and all that goodness. But you go back over and you read others' observations just to see if anything stands out. Maybe somebody says something that's interesting. Anything in this business and what we do in sports talk radio can be fodder, could be turned into something to talk about that we might find engaging, interesting for the listener. And so I go back and I'm reading, and early on, you have low expectations for the information that you're gleaning. You're just kind of, okay, well, yeah, that kid he's a monster. And that kid there, he came in shape. Well, they all do these days. But I do like affirmation that Marvin Wilson is a big, bad son of a bitch. I like that at 6:02. I like that to start my day.
All right, that's a big hand.
Yeah. And so I was, kind of one of those clowns looking at pictures of kids going out to practice football.
All right, that's a big hand.
And I thought, that is a big man. Look at that guy. They're going to have a hard time blocking him. And he's just a freshman. He hasn't even put on his man weight yet. What the hell are they going to do? He'll be like 367 once he grows up.
Does that make you excited and giddy for the team photo on Sunday?
No, not really.
Go check out and see what Marvin Wilson's all about?
Yeah, I don't want to disparage kids too much in this opening segment. Later in the show, it's fine. But when you go out there to watch the team picture be taken, every year, a couple things stand out to me every time we do this, and that still happened this Sunday, is I'm always just repulsed by how damn hot it is so early in the morning. Every time we go out there, I think, this is ridiculous. Like each of the last 4 years, you're standing out on in Doak Campbell Stadium, Bobby Bowden Field, thinking, well, let's get on with the pic. I'm not even in the picture. I'm like, let's go. Let's take the picture already. And the players look that way, and the coaches look that way. Jimbo always looks irate. Like, I think if you ask Jimbo the worst thing about being a head coach, it would be having to kiss up to people who contribute large sums of money to the university and to the program. I think he probably hates that. I think to some degree almost everybody does in any walk of life. Like having to pretend to care about people that you otherwise find reprehensible. Now there are plenty of people who actually do contribute to the bottom line of any business that you do care about, and it's nice to meet those people and to have those interactions. But we all know there's the precious few that here comes Bob.
Yeah, the word insufferable comes to mind.
Yeah, I got to talk to Bob now because I can't not talk to Bob. There's Bob. Hey, Bob, good to see you. There's that, right? So I don't think he likes that when you go. All coaches go on the tour throughout the state, and they got to shake hands and kiss babies. Everybody does. That's just the way of the world. So I doubt he likes that. He feels like it's taking away precious time that he could use to win more football games and make his program better. And then the other thing I think is sitting there for the team picture. I think he hates it. He always looks so angry. It's just, all right, let's get with it. Yeah, it's never like, all right, let's everybody gather around. Let's take this thing, all right, another year, guys. No, it's the, the faraway stare, are we done here? We're done with this now. It's over with. Good.
Not sure if mugshot or actual photo,
Yeah, I'll tell you what made me laugh was, and again, I don't like to have to disparage, and I hope he gets it together, but when Malik Henry walked past me last year, I think I was texting you.
Yeah, because I don't see the need to go out for the team photo.
Yeah.
I just wait in the breakout room.
I go out there, and I saw him, and I texted you, my God, I think we have a problem on our hands. We got to get this kid some help. This is not good. And I don't know what was going on there.
Then there was the year that actually I was out there with you. And again, we mentioned it last week, but Mario Edwards Jr. was on campus as a true freshman. And you went, holy jeez.
Look at that dude.
Yeah. From about 30 yards away, he could probably hear you.
He probably could. But that's ridiculous. We both saw him and went, because I watched his dad play, and I thought, that can't be. That's, what in the world? How did you come from him?
Yeah, and we're walking in for interviews, and you go, do you see the size of that ass? Jeez, man.
Well,
who's moving that kid?
Here's what I would tell you. I think in football terms, it is hilarious that coaches and anybody who I guess would be a scout or anybody that covers these guys in terms of kind of projecting their effectiveness early in their career. If you're in the trenches, man, there's no other way around it. Coaches and scouts and people who are paid to look at these things and talk about these things and try to project as to whether or not somebody is or is not going to be very good early in their career, we look at ass. That's what you do. You got to see, is he going to be tough to uproot? You got to know, is he anchored down in there?
Can I move this guy
Yeah.
from the point of attack?
That's right. It's important. And a big deciding factor in that is how much ass you bring into the table. So right off the bat, you go, well, he's got a lot of ass there. I mean, Corey Simon, who listens to this program, hello, Corey, more ass than anybody could ever handle. All-American, what are you going to do? Too much ass. There's just Coach, he's got too much ass. What can I do with all that ass? There you go. That happens.
It's static. If he wants to stand right where he's standing,
You're
he's
not
standing
moving
right
him.
where he's standing.
Think of the NFL. Think about like Gilbert Brown and all those guys for years.
Wilfork.
They didn't even and Wilfork is amazing for his size, but Gilbert Brown and some others didn't even have to be good at football. That used to drive me nuts. You didn't even have to be good at football. You're just born big as hell.
Well, those were the days when the Bucs were in the Central with Green Bay, and there was the customary Gilbert Brown's on the sideline getting oxygen shot for every game. It's like, all right, Gilbert Brown is on the sidelines. He's getting oxygen. Oh, there he is. He's standing next to his position coach. All right, for 2nd down and 8, here comes Gilbert Brown on the field.
Yeah.
And screw that. The two nearest gaps.
It was unbelievable.
There's nothing you can do.
Couldn't move him. And for a time, that's the way Tony Siragusa was, and I would watch him, and I'd think.
And he'd get his fat arms up there and pat down a pass.
All that blubber would be in your screen. I can picture Pat Summerall right now. It's Gilbert Brown. You're like, oh, damn it.
Pass batted down by Gilbert Brown.
No inflection, no enthusiasm whatsoever. He could call an 85-yard touchdown pass late in the fourth quarter to take the lead, and it would be the same as a 2-yard run up the middle in the first quarter. It was always
Michael Irvin, touchdown Cowboys.
That was the end of it, right? And Madden would be going nuts, and Summerall's just like, there it is. That's what you get from me. That's all there is. So we didn't need, I will say this, as I was sipping my coffee, certainly we didn't need confirmation because we pretty well already had it, especially working for ESPN. But College Game Day, of course, in Atlanta, and I was noticing something there when they announced it that ESPN is holding a 2-day college football production seminar in Atlanta this week. They're laying it all out there now, with about 300 of the network's on-camera and off-camera personnel meeting at the College Football Hall of Fame. So the specials begin. And Kirk Herbstreit was asked about his role in the upcoming season, and of course, game day being there. And they always, once it becomes official, and there aren't just inter-office emails and things like that, when they announce it to the football-loving world, he does that thing where it sits in a room and people, light up the phone lines and he answers questions. I'm sure he loathes it.
Kind of like Jimbo Fisher, on picture day, and
Right.
getting in the bleachers
Right.
for the picture.
Right. So, but he's going to have a busy day. And the reason I bring this up is only because it was yet another pleasant part of my morning, just reading these stories that all intertwine and have to do with football and things related to football and the football games and the football that started and the practices that are going on all over the country and all of that. It just made for a good first hour of my day. And he's got Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Florida State, and Georgia Tech, Tennessee in like a 3-day span. He's working 3 full game broadcasts over 5 days. I don't know why you do Ohio State, Indiana, but all right.
Because he's a Buckeye, I guess?
Well, man, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think ESPN just assigns these, Well, it has to do with, remember when we were going and looking down all of the games, admittedly, as excited as we are for football to be back, that first 4 or 5, you're like, Tulsa and so-and-so, or whatever those games were that I went through. You're like, nope, not going to watch that one. Nevada and New Mexico State. Well, maybe. It's Wednesday night at 9, maybe, or whatever it was. So that one was the one that kind of, at least it's a Big Ten,
Yeah, and it's kind of like what ESPN or Fox or CBS does in the preseason. I mean, they send Nance to cover a game in the preseason
Right.
with his team and Buck, and
Yeah.
obviously the Monday Night Crew does a Thursday game. Remember, they did Jameis and the Cincinnati Bengals. That was the game that they had covered. Maybe it was the Browns. But Gruden and Tirico were calling the game at that point. It could be that the Ohio State-Indiana game is, all right, let's make sure the crew knows what
everything's
they're doing.
Everything's
that
good to go.
By the time we get to Florida State, Alabama, all of the ghosts in the system, the gremlins, they're all gone.
I'll tell you, too, I'm thinking back on that preseason game, the praise was effusive. Remember, he was calling out plays at the line of scrimmage and checks early on. They're like, well, that's why.
That was the birth of We Good.
Yeah. Oh, and I can't get enough of We Good. Speaking of which, if you do the runaround, once again, part of my morning routine these days, and you look at Miami, meaning the Dolphins, and the Canes while you're at it, and then you look at the Bucks. I don't usually look at USF while I'm at it. Then you look at Jacksonville. This is my routine. Then I go to Atlanta, Carolina, teams in the division, or in the Southeast in general that people care about. Let's put it that way. And you kind of go through those first couple of days of camp, and you're looking for signs, especially if they've got a young quarterback or a young wide receiver or somebody that might make a splash. You're looking for that. I saw something today. I was reading the paper in the Charlotte Observer, and I thought of you, and I thought I almost texted you, but I knew you've been under the weather, and I didn't want to text you that early in the morning, but I did. I laughed aloud as I sipped my coffee because I found it, and I thought, he's going to love this. I got to find it here now. There was a quote, and I even printed it out. Oh, here it is. Carolina Panthers camp. McCaffrey turning heads, compares favorably to Steve Smith.
Steve Smith.
I said, oh, Tom Lang is going to get awfully defensive when I tell him.
We're going to get fined if we keep this segment going.
They think he's got a lot of Steve Smith in him, buddy.
Oh, really?
A lot of Steve Smith in him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that bothers you on a lot of levels and for a lot of reasons. But I thought, I can't wait. That's a quote.
Yeah, so he's going to line up on the outside. And
hold on. Well, hold on. What they said was, now there was some context to this. They said that in the early days, back when Steve Smith was young and new to the league, they were figuring out all the ways they could use him. And they would line him up in the backfield, or they'd throw the ball to him frequently because he was so dynamic with the ball in his hands and tough. And 0 to 60 like that was the big thing.
Special teams
right.
guy, yeah.
They would give him the ball behind the line of scrimmage. They had a lot of packages that they developed to get him the ball both as kind of a running back, as a slot, as a wide out. They did it all. And they're saying that's the comparison. They're saying that's what they want to do now with McCaffrey. Lots of different ways to get him the ball in space. And we did figure that's how you would have to use him to get the most out of him. He's not a 25-carry running back. That's not what he is. He's a 7 to 10-carry guy, a guy you line up in the slot, a guy you could use on special teams, a guy you could use. And if they use him that way and he survives, I do think he could be very good.
Yeah, he's just a more expensive Ryan Switzer. That's all. That's what he is.
I think a little bit more dynamic. Slightly more dynamic than Ryan Switzer. We'll get to Florida State. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Saw Palmetto capsules to get the same active ingredient in just one Super Beta prostate tablet. Stop running to the bathroom and call us now for your free bottle. Hurry, this free offer won't last. Call 1-800-507-1004. That's 1-800-507-1004. 1-800-507-1004.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help.
800-298-5783. 800-298-5783. 800-298-5783. 800-298-5783.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
Woohoo! Bandito!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I should at least make mention while I get the opportunity here. Rest in peace, John Reeves. Do you have any recollection of John Reeves? For your time, good sir. You know, I went to a lot of Bandits games back in the day with my dad, and that's my main memory of John Reeves. You know, he was before my time in college when he started at the University of Florida after Spurrier. That's before my time. But he was, by the way, you know, he left Florida as the NCAA's all-time leading passer. 7,000 at the time, 7,581 career yards, SEC record 54 touchdown passes. Haunted his whole life by demons. Loved cocaine, loved alcohol, loved drugs. Had an addictive personality and struggled with that his whole life. I always felt bad for him because I remember reading an interview with him where he talked about those demons. Anyhow, point is this. I don't remember his early pro days or anything like that, but he was a scab on the Bucks team in '87 during the players' strike, and you were one.
If that, yeah, at that point.
But he was with the Bandits, the Tampa Bay Bandits, in 1984, and I remember him very well. And he later became an assistant to Steve Spurrier at Florida in the early 90s. Then he was at South Carolina. Anyhow, battled drug and alcohol addiction throughout his life, and he is dead. But John Reeves was a Florida legend. Moved to Florida at an early age, and is still one of the very limited number of quarterbacks to come out of the state that were drafted highly and make it.
Not the era or the city to be in if you have demons, right?
Still not. Tampa's still not the place, or it is, depending on what your goals are.
If you embrace the demons, or if you fear the demons.
Yeah. It's if you're trying to get right, don't move to Tampa. I'm telling you, the old shady Tampa will bring a good man down. Many a good man has been taken down in Tampa. So, if you've got an inkling towards embracing the darkness, Tampa's like, oh, baby, look around. Look around.
This is what we specialize in,
yeah,
sir.
It's the Den of Iniquity, the original, right? This is a good one.
The darkness is creeping towards you.
Yeah. Rest in peace, John Reeves. Also, and I'll get them both out of the way while I can because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I don't want it to be too dark, but holy moly, blown away by the announcement that David Faherty's son died of an overdose on his 29th birthday. And Faherty, who has fought his own alcohol and drug addiction throughout his life, also at one time cocaine. You know what? I do want to say this. Obviously, there's an outpouring. Faherty is beloved in the golf world. And if you follow golf, you all know who Faherty is. Even if you don't, you might have seen his interview show on the Golf Channel. And he's got a loyalty on that tour that really is almost second to none. The players adore him because he's a former player, and he has always had the ability to relate and inject humor into the broadcast. He is very, very sharp and in a quick wit. But when you think of some of the more difficult people to get along with in golf, Tiger Woods being one of them. Woods loved him. A lot of the high-profile guys who have been quote-unquote difficult all loved him. All thought he was, loved him and think he's genuine. But I was touched by something. The outpouring of affection is what I was getting at. That obviously were sent his way upon the announcement that his 29-year-old son had passed due to a drug overdose. Peter Costas said this about David Faherty's son, Shea. I say again, everyone you meet is fighting a battle of which you know nothing about. Be nice. Be compassionate, because you never know. Peace. It was beautiful. Well done, Peter Costas. I just didn't expect it to come from Peter Costas. I don't know why I thought that.
And then he critiqued Charlie Hoffman's swing on the Konica Minolta Biz Hub.
And he does that well. I love that. I love that. All right, so back to less morbid things and getting that. Wanted to at least mention those two items. Florida State, no surprises yesterday. Everybody came in looking really, really good. If you're wondering, was there anything really, truly to glean? I would say this. I think that the common theme yesterday was a confident and secure in himself and perhaps capable of more outward signs of emotion and leadership with his teammates, DeAndre Francois. You saw some of that. Now, again, you don't want to overdo it. It's just T-shirts, shorts, practice, that kind of thing. And then the two real kind of eye-opening freshmen in the class, Kendo, 250-plus pounds at nearly 6'7", quick, and got through the drills seamlessly, looked like he can play almost immediately in terms of the quickness, the footwork, the leverage, the bend. And then, obviously, I mentioned Marvin, who's massive.
Yes, and he's a depth reserve at this point. What a place to be right now. If you're talking about defensive interior, stopping the run, and all that kind of stuff, you got to be feeling pretty good if you're Charles Kelly, Odell Haggins, Brad Long, you name it. Jimbo.
Well, and we never expect, we don't think it's fair to expect that defensive linemen, maybe even defensive ends, although that changed a year ago, are going to come in and make a huge impact because of the nature of the position. Again, you're talking about, in some cases, seniors going up against true freshmen, 18-year-old kids having to battle 22, 23-year-old kids who've been in the system, who have been eating properly, working out properly, perhaps have even had a seat over the years at the Bama table, for lack of a better term, and are grown-ass men. Tough for a kid coming out of high school to compete with that, unless you're a freak of nature the way Tim Jernigan was. And he was. And he immediately came in, impacted the team, had an effect on games, could compete because he was abnormally strong, preternaturally strong for his age. Maybe Marvin's that. I mean, there is at times a reason that somebody is a unanimous 5-star that teams all across the country desperately covet and feel like are the key to their class. So I would just say that was one of those kids, if you remember on signing day, that really was going to make the biggest difference in signing over the last, whatever that time frame was where they were talking about he could go here, he could go to LSU, he could go, and it was us and LSU, and I think
Texas was in it for a while.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they were talking about all those teams, and we're holding our breath. Well, that was because everybody who goes to those camps and follows that for a living said, yeah, instant impact player possibility.
Yeah, I think Ohio State, too, was one of those teams that was.
And you're always worried about Urban.
Yes. Oh, because there are premonitions sometimes.
Yeah, you may have heard from God, and you didn't want him to convey that Jesus himself was talking to Urban Meyer in dreams about Marvin signing with Ohio State.
It's
right.
just amazing how with that at your disposal, you don't win the title every year, and you don't get every recruit.
You don't get every recruit. I mean, my Lord.
Yeah, indeed.
Literally.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
So,
my goodness.
But count me as one who's interested from the Kendo perspective. In talking to Brad Long this weekend on Sunday in the pool interviews with the media, as the assistant coaches are available for the one time until we get to bowl week, and he's talked about Josh Sweat 2 years ago, Brian Burns last year, and Burns had 9.5 sacks, and he's as advertised, and he'll be an impact player this year. Is there room? Is there time for Kendo to play?
Sure.
Because you have Sweat and Burns and Pugh. I mean, okay, that's three guys that are probably going to take up the lion's share of reps at one position or the other.
You notice the common theme, though, is across the board right now. When you have a class like that, you bring in an influx of talent at any one position or on either side of the ball. Jimbo's theme yesterday had a lot to do with, hey, make us play you if you're a freshman. I don't know. He was asked to predict which of the freshmen would have an instant impact on this team, and he wasn't going to go down that road. He clearly was trying to deflect and not put too much pressure on Cam Akers, who everybody got a glimpse of already, so they're very excited about him. But he didn't want to do that to anybody. And yet he said, look, it's just a designation. It doesn't mean you can't play. It doesn't mean you can't contribute. And he says that a lot. But I like the idea of challenging. Look, it's clear that last year pissed him off. That the guys that were upperclassmen on last year's team, the guys that had been in the system, I think he felt a little betrayed that could happen. That they could look like that you could see some of those games where truly, and this is the big thing from last year. All right, fine. We can talk about confusion, guys not lined up properly, matters. We could talk about the disconnect between whatever happened in the film room and on the practice fields to once game day started and guys, once the bullets were live and things began to happen, really getting confused. That matters, but effort was frequently a discussion on this program and even alluded to within the Showtime series and by the head coach. That can never happen. We can never be sitting here talking about we've got a problem with effort. That's the one thing you can control. It's a cliche, but it's true. I mean, you can control effort. You get out there and bust your ass and go at full speed no matter what. You had guys confused, which turned into obviously some losses and disappointments, which turned into this woe is me, feeling sorry for myself sort of attitude, going through the motions in big moments, big pockets of football games like the North Carolina game at home. And I think because that happened, Jimbo is sending and has been sending since that moment a resounding message about nothing's locked up, nothing's set in stone. You've played well. You're a starter. You've been in a lot of games. It doesn't mean you are going to be again this year. So he's challenging the young guys, and he's sending the message to the older guys. It's on. Competition, full on.
It was something we talked about early on yesterday. He does keep coming back to that.
He does.
The freshmen were something he mentioned to you out in Charlotte. He doubled down again yesterday in his press conference before practice. He talked about it again in his post-practice, although he was led that way. And the question was about the freshmen, so it's not like he brought it up out of thin air in that third instance. But to me, it seems like either Jimbo really likes the freshmen, or as you're suggesting, he's using them as a tool to push the guys who think that their jobs are already
pretty secure
in ink. Maybe it's a combination of both. But to me, you hear about him enough from the head coach, and I feel like he thinks, okay, I got about 3 or 4 players that may be ready to work right now for us, that may be ready to contribute in that first month.
Dynamic.
Yeah. In the first month of the season, when you're going to be pushed to a physical, brim, with 3 of the first 4 weeks being against teams that are ready.
Yeah, and then you can dial it back some if you have to, and at that point, you can experiment too. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the offensive line plays out, as we really talked a lot about yesterday, because I think that's the most intriguing aspect of the entire season. I am one that I got to be it's got to be proven to me. We got to wait and see on that receiving core, but none of us, I don't think anybody who's worried about that has said that they question the upside of the talent. So let's just assume those guys do what they're supposed to do and become much more dependable and much more consistent. And then, of course, the talent is not in question. So let's just assume that happens. Then all you're talking about really is who's manning what position on that offensive line, and are they consistent? Do they play well in the big games against the better defenses?
I think for, not just the Alabama game and not just the offensive line, but the team as a whole. By the time you get to October, you're going to know who the most physically tough guys are, but you're also going to know what players are most mentally tough. Because
I have a feeling Francois is going to be one of those guys again, man. That's already there, But I think he's going to continue to improve. Part of his problem with accuracy stems from, or at least it did, in my opinion, stems from some uncertainty. When you're not sure of yourself, and maybe even if you're not sure of some other guys that you're throwing the ball to, you pause for just a moment, then you're late with the football, and that also affects accuracy and it affects your mechanics.
Then the overcompensation is the game is too fast in your mind.
Right. And there's no worse feeling than feeling like you're not totally sure of something. I mean, whether that's giving a speech in public or executing a pass on a play in a game. You like to go into the situation having your bases covered and understanding what you're looking at, what you're talking about in the case of a speech. And I think some, when you're young, as he was a year ago and still is, but as a redshirt freshman making his first starts, I think there were some times where he wasn't so sure. And that affected his accuracy. So when we talk about some of those accuracy issues, I mean, I've never been a quarterback, and I've never been a quarterback coach, and I don't know the first thing about how much of what a quarterback does by the time he gets to college is kind of inherent, as in you have accuracy or hand talent or you don't, and how much of it can be learned, how much of it can be taught, how much of it can be built upon each year that you go through the process. I got to believe, obviously, the more confident you are and the better understanding you have of the offense, the better you are able to execute those plays. And that would say, to me, that's maturity and that's improving accuracy as you get older.
Yeah, and the better players are around you, the numbers are going to get better.
Well,
One would think.
Yeah, and in this case, the receivers we're talking about have a little bit more go get it. You don't have to be as spot-on accurate when you're not throwing to midgets. So you can throw the ball to people that are can jump out of the gym and guys that can go get it and have a catch radius that's much greater. And I think in the case of Auden Tate, obviously, and if you think about the physicality of a Keith Gavin, and then you look at the explosiveness of a Nooney Murray and Izzo being a big target, yeah, he's got a lot of guys like that this year, as opposed to, unfortunately, the limitations of, say, a Kermit or a Bobo or, guys that we were having to throw to before.
You're right back to the leadership question. Is he mentally tough enough to bring others along for the ride with him?
Well, we'll find out. That's a good part about right now. We're figuring these things out as we go along towards practice. A lot of this is all going to be speculative until you get into the games, and I don't even know that first game is necessarily going to be a real good indicator. It's hard when you – I guess it's just hard when you don't know whether or not you're going to be able to block it up. The most dangerous thing you can do as you prepare for this game as a fan, if you just remove all kind of just talking points or whatever, is just go back and look at the last 3 years of highlights of Alabama's defensive line. Whether the guys that are, most of those guys are gone, of course. Almost all those guys are gone now. But just how they plug and play and just brutalize opposing offensive lines. When you see that and then you think about your own questions with this group, it's just disheartening. Don't do it. Maybe I shouldn't have suggested it. Just don't do it.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the Corner Pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. He's gone! Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Are you living with a growing prostate? Do you pee more often than you used to? Do you wake up to go? Be honest. Is there a drop in your romantic life? Prostate problems don't go away on their own, so you need to call for a free bottle of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 non-prescription formula for your prostate. The ingredients are natural. With Super Beta Prostate, you'll have less urges to urinate, less waking at night, and an improvement in your romantic life. Try it for free. Pay only shipping and handling. Super Beta Prostate is so powerful, you'd have to take 100 saw palmetto capsules to get the same active ingredient in just one Super Beta Prostate tablet. Stop running to the bathroom and call us now for your free bottle. Hurry, this free offer won't last. Call 1-800-507-1004. That's 1-800-507-1004. 1-800-507-1004.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Brent, this month's topic is classic song lyrics. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Here's a lyric. American history, practical math. You study them hard and hoping to pass.
It's from School Days by the great Chuck Berry. He wrote and recorded so many great hits.
You mean like TNT Supercenter sells and services so many top golf cart brands with an enormous selection all under one roof?
TNT Supercenter customers can compare the top golf cart brands side by side. Club Car, Yamaha, Star EV, and the ultimate hunting vehicle to beat. TNT Supercenter has the largest selection of carts in the area. Pre-owned carts starting at just $19.99. New carts with a 4-year warranty starting at just $49.99. And at TNT, our service center and service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing cart with a full line of Mad Jack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Are you an experienced tree worker, arborist, or climber? Wouldn't you like a great full-time job? Hi, I'm Mike Cross of ArborWorks Tree Care and Removal, and I'd like to meet you. ArborWorks has served this community since 2002. We use new, state-of-the-art equipment, and we offer competitive hourly pay plus overtime. So if you are a tree worker, an arborist, or a climber, this is the opportunity for you. Call me at 228-6738. That's 228-6738. ArborWorks Tree Care and Removal.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/build. That's ZipRecruiter.com/build for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/build.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sound asleep, but baseball had one of those moments last night. Just allow me to get this out there, where you're reminded how awesome baseball is. That game between Boston and Cleveland last night was...
I saw the end of it.
That was fantastic. Unless you have Cody Allen as your closer, which I do.
Bob Costas blew it. He forgot the rule about a runner on first and 2 outs with a wild pitch strikeout.
Well,
game's not over, Bob.
Also, he blew the home run call. He butchered the home run call on a ball that was like hit 500 feet. Come on, Bob.
He totally, yeah. The game is, it doesn't matter. The game is over. No, it's not, Bob.
No, it's not just that it's not over, but then, man, when a guy hits one to the moon, don't tell me the center fielder's going back on it and settling. That ball is dead center. We've been to where that ball was hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard place to hit.
That's a bit of a poke.
He got all of it.
You might know it off the bat, or at least want to elevate your voice. Yeah.
I giggled as soon as the ball was struck. It had that sound where you go, ooh, oh my goodness.
You know what that tells you. He didn't see it off the bat, so he's following the center fielder.
Well, can he hear? Because, sweet Jesus, that sounded like... that sounded like somebody's head being hit with a bat. Just that nasty crack, like in movies where you hear it and you go,
I was going to say, well.
No, I'm not revealing something of myself.
St. Pete, huh?
No, it's De Niro, right? I mean, it's that scene where you're like, it was so loud. Plus, there's a little something or a little matter of the hitter and pitcher telling you what just happened. He's posing, and Cody's halfway to the dugout. Never turned around. He's like, oh, we're done here. That's the hell out of here.
No, that's the truest sense that you can get as a viewer. is sometimes the hitter is not reliable. You got to know your hitter.
Yeah.
If Yoenis Cespedes is pimping something, there's a
chance it's not gone.
70% chance you're good, but there's a 30% chance it might be off the wall for a double.
Yeah.
And there are players like him, but pitchers will tell you.
Well, he walked straight, and he just went. I mean, as soon as he gets done with his follow-through, he's like, we're done here. That's not where I wanted that. That is. And he did with that what I was hoping he wouldn't. It was a fun game for a lot of reasons. The catch, in addition to that, Boston blew a chance to close it out. Then you had Cleveland do the same. Wild game. It really matters this time of year. Electric atmosphere. A lot of fun. Stars being stars.
Yeah, I caught probably in all about 40 minutes of it, but I caught the last 10. And, I just couldn't believe it. Bob said the game is over, and I'm doubting myself because this is the ultimate compliment to Costas because he never gets things like that wrong.
Not typically.
Not typically. And I thought, well, no, wait a minute. No, that's not right at all,
You're
Bob.
wrong, Bob. You're wrong. Yeah, when somebody who, whether you like him or dislike him, think he's pompous or not, and that is the complaint about Costas, is that he's an erudite when it comes to baseball. But nobody will ever argue that he doesn't know the game or its history. I mean, he does.
But at the same time, he'll take the NFL's money, if he wants to be Mr. High and Mighty.
Hey, so let's do this just because it made me all at once happy and sad, and we'll sprinkle in some today. Athlon did the thing where they talked to ACC coaches anonymously about conference foes for 2017. It's my favorite thing that they do because other than that, Athlon's garbage. But this is my favorite.
That stuff's garbage.
This is my favorite thing. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's just that those magazines anymore are in an unenviable position.
That stuff's garbage.
They have to come out so early, and it's just difficult. But anyhow, what I'll tell you is the first one I always want to read is what people say about my man Adazio and about Boston College. And so I read it, and it put a smile on my face because whoever they talked to, I don't know. Does this sound like Fisher to you?
There, I was checking for
like telltale signs and things like that.
There's one, and it might be for Clemson, but there's a dad gum in there, and I thought, well. And I was also looking for fragments together in a sentence.
Well, they're not going to write it that way. They're going to try to clean it up. They're going to try to, because there was a moment yesterday where Coach Fisher was talking about addressing when he said he liked the team's personality.
Yeah.
Let's play that. Listen to how many times he cuts himself off with half sentences, and
it was the personality, not the culture bit, I think.
Yeah, it's team personality, and there's like 4 non sequiturs. It doesn't make any sense.
When you talk to them, they ain't ever late for a meeting. When you talk to them, they're sitting in the front of their chair and their eyes are up. There ain't guys dozing off. There ain't guys. And it happens on every football team. Everybody say, well, that happens in the history of 29 years. That happens a lot. I mean, that's just part of kids when you sit and talk to them. They got to be somewhere, whether they're doing community service, whether they're doing good in school. I mean, just the whole demeanor and the urgency in which how they let you coach them, let you push them, let you challenge them, and say that, I don't have all the answers. Hey, I know I'm a great player, but I can still be coached. I can still be gotten on. I can still be challenged. And from that demeanor, I mean, just characteristics that normal good people, like if you walked in a room with somebody and you want to have a conversation with him and talk to him, he's looking all over the room and doing that. What's that tell you? Or is he locked into what you're saying?
You know what I would do, Coach? I'd slap him. I'm talking to you, son. I'd be like, Patton.
That's good to know.
That's the best. There was like 16 times he cuts himself off. You want to yell at him about cutting himself off. Coach, finish your thought. Don't let you interrupt you like that again. You tell you to shut up.
Well, and they have a service that transcribes them these days. Like, what do you do?
Good luck.
A lot of ellipses, right?
Yeah, and also you can kind of finish those sentences for him. You know where he's going. If you've covered him, you have to have somebody who's been around him a while. I can put a capper on each one of the sentences that have incomplete thoughts. I can logically throw in 2 or 3 words that we know he meant to say to finish the thought, but didn't. And I think we'd have it exactly right. Anyhow, this is what the anonymous ACC coach said about facing Boston College. The thing with BC is they're a pressure team defensively, and they're going to just put constant pressure on you, take away the run game, dare you to beat them throwing the football. If you can do that for 60 minutes, you can win. Well, yes, a lot of people beat BC. But if you miss, you may only get 2 possessions each quarter. So if you struggle on that first third down of the game, and then you don't get the next third down, you can be in a little bit of hot water. They know exactly who they are defensively, and it matches up perfectly for their offense. That's Jimbo Fisher, man. I'm telling you, that's him.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
They have legitimate players on defense. The kid from North Carolina, Harold Landry, could play for anyone in the country. Another one of his phrases.
Mm-hmm.
They can drop him in coverage. They have him come off the edge. They don't scare you much offensively. They try to get a couple play-action shots in there, maybe a jet sweep every once in a while. They don't have the same kind of skill players that other schools in the league have, but they're very sound in what they do. Come on, man. That first one is Jimbo Fisher.
That's good to know.
They're going to have to replace their quarterback. Patrick played well for them, all things considered. I'm telling you, they asked Jimbo Fisher about BC. Because we play all these close games with BC. It only makes sense that they'd be like, let's ask Jimbo. His offense is producing against most people, but they've struggled against BC. And that comment about if you don't convert that first third down or that second third down, you could be in a little bit of hot water because the half is over.
Yes, yeah.
The half is over.
And he got to see the kid from North Carolina, as he puts it, put a show on.
Oh, well, yes, all day long. Poor Brock Rubel out there, turnstile. Just fat and turned sideways the whole game. Like,
That stuff's garbage.
My man, I'm going to need you. They had to pull him. That's fun stuff. Anyhow, I think we're 1 for 1 in identifying Jimbo. Here was the kicker. The final line, what was the line? Where was it?
If he said that BC's quarterback could throw the ball extreme distances, then that would have been, the giveaway. Well, the Athlon wouldn't know that.
They know exactly who they are defensively, and they match it up perfectly with their offense. He talks about this. He went on a diatribe about this yesterday. Here it is.
Oh, yeah. I always ask questions. What we're doing, why we're doing it. Nick would do it. I mean, what are we, how are we doing? What are they doing on third down? How are you attacking it? I mean, aware of what the game plan was. Nick was it back then. We had to, and I always had to bounce a lot of things off of them. If you had that, would that bother you more? But we used to go at it and practice that way with schemes, and we worked it. Because we always, again, that's where we always did good on good. And we always got that. And we always are on, as a head coach. How are we attacking this? What's going to happen here? Why did that happen? Before, after, you give them freedom to do things, but at the same time, these guys need to be playing more. These guys, you always, as a head coach, you have to tap into that. You always have to be a part of all that. You have to let them coach, but at the same time, what we're trying to do. And also, what people don't realize, you want to split offense and defense up. What do you got to do to win a game? We split offense and defense, and it drives me crazy. You know what it tells me? No one's ever sat in a coaching room. No one's ever played on the team. Because how the defense plays to the offense and how the offense plays to the defense matters how you win. That's one of the most crucial things there is. That's what New England does so well. That's what we used to do over there. I think that's what we do here. You have to, all right, they may be deficient, and it can vary game by what the opponent does. We're so caught up now in systems, and we're no huddle, and we're going to score. That's great. Do you get beat 49-48? Or do we have to slow it down? I mean, what you got to do to win the game. That's how I think. The rest of that doesn't matter. What do we got to do to win the game? And that doesn't mean we won them all, but we've been pretty daggone successful at the same time, doing what we have to do.
Yeah, I feel like that, and the fact that the legitimate players on defense can play for anyone in the country line. By the way, when he brought up that defensive end, he's fond of saying that when guys are talented, right?
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
I think we got you, Jimbo. That's you describing BC. And you're right. That's a spot-on description of BC. That's why they're annoying as hell when you play them. If you don't convert on third down those first 2 times you have the ball, you're like, man, this game's going to be 6-3 in the middle of the third quarter.
We're going to win 20-3,
yeah,
but damn it, we got to try for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah. No backups in this one.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/build. That's ZipRecruiter.com/build for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/build.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cornerstone and DeWalt FlexVolt. Power of corded, freedom of cordless. Buy any of the following DeWalt T1 FlexVolt kits for only $2.99. 60-volt max grinder kit with battery pack, 60-volt brushless recip saw kit, or 60-volt circular saw with brake kit. And add one FlexVolt 60-volt battery pack for free. A $149 value and a Cornerstone-only exclusive. Check out the sound of silence. Almost. Power of gas without noise and fumes. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Your DeWalt FlexVolt Center. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
All you have to do is wait a second. Your hands on mine. The clock.
This hot track is missing something ice cold. Nothing refreshes like an ice cold Pepsi. Pepsi. Crisp, smooth, refreshing, delicious. Grab a Pepsi today.
Hey, she's got that green applesauce pouch again. Ginny, want these chips?
I've got cookies. Guys, you know I don't trade my Go-Go Squeeze. Seriously, no one asked their mom yet?
I did, sorta.
You just gotta remember the name, Go-Go Squeeze. Let her know it's delicious. 100% fruit with no bad stuff and totally good for you.
What's it called again?
Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze. Made with 100% fruit and no artificial anything. Goodness on the go. Find it in the applesauce aisle today.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
This is Adrienne Lawrence. Updates on the Ravens Kaepernick debacle. General Manager Ozzie Newsome says owner Steve Bisciotti is not blocking Baltimore from signing quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Earlier today, sources told ESPN's Diana Rossini that Newsome and coach John Harbaugh have met resistance from the Ravens owner when it came to signing Cap. Injury updates on the gridiron. A broken collarbone has Texans wideout Will Fuller out indefinitely, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter, who also says that Rams defensive tackle Dominique Easley is out for the season with a torn ACL. In the NFC East, coming off a promising rookie season, Giants receiver Sterling Shepard was carted off the practice field today with what looks to be a leg injury. On the court, 76ers center Joel Embiid tells ESPN's Mark Spears that he's going to be ready for camp. Embiid has played in just 31 games during his first 3 seasons in the NBA due to foot and knee injuries. In baseball, the Phillies won't have Pete Rose participate in the Phillies Alumni Weekend festivities next week after all. This comes after a woman says in a court filing that Rose had a sexual relationship with her before she was 16 back in the 70s.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But, hey, if you do, remember this. We got you all 3 hours posted every day upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. And it's all brought to you with limited commercial interruption thanks to our wonderful podcast sponsor, CarltonDean.com. Does great work for us. Allows us to bring the show to you, again, with very limited commercial interruption. We thank him. Email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNRadio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app for mobile devices, and on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. Matthew's doing a great job of directing the show today. Yesterday, he didn't, but today he has been spot on. That's a way to step up your game, Matthew, after that shaky outing yesterday. Really, I got home. People said, what happened to Matthew today? I said, shaky. Shaky. I don't know what happened to him.
He was raising his fist.
He knows.
For people that are listening on traditional radio.
Yeah. Well, you know, and this is the thing. Not everybody has a great day every day. And what I try to impart with young Matthew is that that's okay. You got to come back the next day and be strong. And today is one of those days. You see, it's seamless.
I just want to know what he did to you overnight. What's this about? Rookie hazing?
No, he just a piss poor effort yesterday. That's all. It can happen. It can happen. It's just nothing, you know. It's one of those things. I mean, we all have them. Sometimes I'm terrible on the show. Just got to come back and be strong the next day. Every now and then you miss a cue for an audio thing. It happens. You beat yourself up over it the whole night, I'm sure. We all do.
Oh, yeah, just like I did back in the day. You know it.
It happens.
It eats me up, man.
It's just terribly. No sleeping.
It's like, come on now.
But at least we're not Pete Rose, where you can't just peacefully get into your late 70s and not be reminded about the affair you had with a 15-year-old girl. What is this world coming to, where you can't just quietly find death without your affair with a child ever being exposed? I mean, between Joe Paterno and Pete Rose, these old people thought they had it made, and then, oopsie, that haunted past where you, did something heinous. Comes back to get you. Tough times.
Damn. All right. Now that's an eventful first 3 minutes of the hour.
No, I laughed at that Pete Rose story because, in all seriousness, obviously that's something if it's true. Not shocking if it's true, because it's Pete freaking Rose. Every time something good, and I've been on the air for 20 years, every time something good is about to happen to Pete Rose, it's immediately followed by not just like a slight inconvenience for him or revelations of a mild transgression, but something horrific where you go, oh, well, all these years I've been defending Pete Rose. Like every time where he's ripping into Giamatti as commissioner, calling him a liar, saying all the people that worked for him in Major League Baseball were liars. Then Giamatti dies, has a heart attack, stained by the besmirching of Pete Rose and his minions who follow him everywhere going, Pete Rose, Pete Rose. And then Pete Rose comes out within days of it going to be revealed because somebody had the goods, the smoking gun on him that, I lied about all of that. I admitted in my meeting with Bart Giamatti that I actually betted on baseball. I don't know why I called him a liar and a cheat and all of the people that worked for him in baseball, all of those names. I'm the a-hole. I'm the guy that he said I was. I even assigned the agreement. Sorry. Yeah, Bart's dead, ass. You can't go back and undo that. And then later on, when they were about to do something official for him with the Reds, what was it? Something else came out where he was a degenerate gambler, which we already knew. But he had stolen, I think, thousands of dollars from his best friend, may have slept with his best friend's wife. They're like, well, we're going to have to hold off that Pete Rose celebration we were about to have. And then he's out there trying to sell a book a month later with those salacious headlines. Oh, but it's not about the book sales. I just want to come clean. I'm so sorry about everything. And now this. They're about to celebrate the man again finally at 76 before he kicks the bucket. And this 14-year-old girl comes out and goes, well, now hold on. Enough's enough. We can't be praising Pete. He was having an affair with me when I was 15 years old. He was a grown-ass man. I'm telling you, right before they put him in the grave, we're going to find out one more thing about Pete Rose. Like he was on the grassy knoll. Pete Rose is responsible for our current troubles, whatever they may be, across the board. You perceive problems, Pete Rose had something to do with it.
He's Jordan Spieth's mentor or something along those lines.
Then you'll be like, Cameron was right.
I
knew it.
I wondered why he just had this vendetta against Pete Rose randomly on a Wednesday in August of 2017.
No, I've always thought Pete was an ass and shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame for lots of reasons. But the best is just that every time people who staunchly defend him, they're right there by his side. And then something horrible is revealed and they have to go, oh, well, that's a toughie. I'm not so sure I can at least be as vocal as I have been these last 3 or 4 years. I'll stay down here and let this pass over until the next time we get our hopes up that our hero, Pete Rose, is going to be in the Hall of Fame or have something named after him. No, you don't want that. You never want an announcement that Pete Rose is on the cusp of receiving any kind of positive reward because what's going to immediately follow is something heinous that you never thought. And we think pretty little of Pete Rose, the person, right? But this one has to be the kicker of them all. Not the stealing from your friend, lying, and then besmirching Bart Giamatti. No, this is the kicker of them all.
He's an all-time figure, but this definitely displays the age gap between you and I. Because Pete Rose, the player, Pete Rose, the manager, I don't know that guy. I know that ESPN did a special defending Pete Rose. They had Johnny Cochran and somebody else.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Remember that?
No.
Oh, they did. This was 15 years ago, maybe. And they did an hour special on, all right, let's have a trial. And does Pete Rose belong in the Hall of Fame? And they had a couple of high-priced lawyers, make a couple of cases.
ESPN is too fond of bringing in high-profile lawyers to have sports debates. Just stop that. Secondly, they always do that. They fake being a judge when they had poor Reese up there like an ass wearing a robe, having to pretend he's a judge talking to Lou Holtz, stutter effing his way through an entire segment.
I thought Lou Holtz died today because they were talking about, the Notre Dame coach passed away. And
Ara Parseghian, who I didn't know was still alive, and I brought him up 2 weeks ago on a segment here where I said, hey, here's one of those news flashes where you feel kind of bad about your first thought. I was reading the paper that he was sick.
Yeah.
And the first thought I had was, he's still alive? I thought Ara Parseghian died 25 years ago.
Yeah, but ESPN.com can go to hell for this reason because they had the scroll and they said, Notre Dame coach dies, and then the first video is Lou Holtz.
And you're like, no.
So I thought Lou Holtz had kicked the bucket.
He's scheduled to speak at the quarterback club this year. That's terrible news.
Is he really?
Yeah.
We've gone over that, haven't we?
Yeah. I don't know if speak is the right way to describe what he'll do, but he's going to be there.
You have to be like for a Gallagher in the front row.
Oh, man. Get the tube. Like at the dentist's office. sucking out the saliva. Get the tube. By the way, so Pete Rose.
That thing's awesome.
Pete Rose is probably thinking about this whole thing, and I've thought this before. You know, it's a good thing that we kind of figured out this whole idea that it's not okay for grown men to be attempting to woo, young girls. Benny Mardones made the song Into the Night. You've heard it. Sadly, we all have. It was a huge hit. But I was thinking about this when I heard the Pete Rose story. The opening line. Now, you want to talk about what you could get away with in the 70s and early 80s. My man just writes this song with impunity. He's like, I'm not worried about anything. The opening line to that song is, she's just 16 years old. You can't go anywhere good from there. As soon as you write that, Benny, no. Put 18 on that piece of paper.
Well, I know that. They bring the ink home.
For some reason, the super slow-mo version of that is so much. Play the regular speed when it happened.
It's going to feel fast to everybody now. But yeah.
Lightning quick. It's crazy.
Well, I know that. They bring the ink home.
Now give me the super slow-mo.
Well, I know that. They bring the ink home.
You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to isolate it even more to just the
That's it.
That's
the
one.
moment.
That's the moment where there's a bit of insanity. There's this little that's it. He's gone somewhere dark. He's in another world. He's one step away from yelling, my shoes are brown.
Well, I know that. They bring the ink home.
It's just madness coming to the surface. It's just like that. It's it.
Well, I know that.
I wish I was friends with him so I could just sit there and talk to him and just let him do things like that.
Well, he's Mr. Self-deprecating when it comes to his humor, too. He knows. He's totally self-aware.
I don't think he knows that he often doesn't speak words.
But he said when you interviewed him back at the old place.
And I did interview him. That's correct.
That's 6-7 years ago now.
I think it's more than that, isn't it?
Well, I was there, so somewhere between 09 and 12, like somewhere in there. But I recall it being in the winter. Anyway.
Was he selling a book? Why did I have him on?
But he said something to the effect of, he made a joke about, his lisp and spitting.
Right.
So, he gets that.
Well, he gets that part of it. But I think he was under the belief that he was capable of putting together coherent sentences. It's one thing to have a lisp or to be aware that, you have a speech impediment. You have something that,
Well, we've all been flabbergasted in our life. It's just, if you're 85 and flabbergasted, it might sound a little different.
I don't think he could, the thoughts and the words and the lining up of the sentence, it was just too much.
Well, I know that. They bring the ink home.
No words other than comb. Head comb. That's the only one you get. There's no... All right, last one, and then we'll go to break, and I'll get it back on track.
Well, I know that. They bring the ink home.
We have picked apart this thing like the Zapruder film, but I have to tell you, just like that famed film, you see something new each time. You're like, wait a minute, go back to that one. Stop it right there. Was that a puff of smoke coming out from that bush?
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
97-8400.
The following message is brought to you by Health Markets, your first choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. That's 800-478-0834.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Are you living with a growing prostate? Do you pee more often than you used to? Do you wake up to go? Be honest. Is there a drop in your romantic life? Prostate problems don't go away on their own, so you need to call for a free bottle of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 non-prescription formula for your prostate. The ingredients are natural. With Super Beta Prostate, you'll have less urges to urinate, less waking at night, and an improvement in your romantic life. Try it for free. Pay only shipping and handling. Super Beta Prostate is so powerful, you'd have to take 100 saw palmetto capsules to get the same active ingredient in just one Super Beta Prostate tablet. Stop running to the bathroom and call us now for your free bottle. Hurry, this free offer won't last. Call 1-800-507-1004. That's 1-800-507-1004. 1-800-507-1004.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you wanting to raise some extra cash fast? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need to clean out that garage full of stuff you never use? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need a newer car or truck and don't want to break the bank? Think Thrifty Nickel. Buying or selling, your best bet is Thrifty Nickel. All ads appear in print and online for maximum results. Place your ad today and ask for their guaranteed results special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
Charlie is all over the place. He's so unorganized. How do I get him to be more responsible with his academics? I've tried everything.
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics help your child learn how to work through these common issues. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
Cornerstone and DeWalt FlexVolt. Power of corded, freedom of cordless. Buy any of the following DeWalt T1 FlexVolt kits for only $2.99. 60-volt max grinder kit with battery pack, 60-volt brushless recip saw kit, or 60-volt circular saw with brake kit. And add one FlexVolt 60-volt battery pack for free. A $149 value and a Cornerstone-only exclusive. Check out the sound of silence. Almost. Power of gas without noise and fumes. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Your DeWalt FlexVolt Center. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show. On 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm not going to dwell on it. It's just, I don't. The Ravens have turned this thing into a joke. Just sign him. Nobody cares that much. I think we've reached that point. If your backup quarterback is Ryan Mallett and Flacco's hurt at all and you're worried he's going to miss 4 to 5 games, nobody's going to be angry if you sign Colin Kaepernick. Like, there'll be like 100 people that are pissed off. They'll get over it. You know how many bad dudes there are in the NFL that have been convicted of crimes that teams sign? What are we doing?
That's what I'm saying.
No, but
that's what I've been saying.
No, what I was telling you was that I got the other side when I brought up all the other stuff that I did last week about the fact that it's not as if he's a real good player and that he's a perfect fit everywhere else. And that if you chose not to sign him because in addition to him not being a very good quarterback, he also brought to the table some things that you don't want to bring into the locker room or controversy that you don't want to bring about on your football team. I understood that too. But in that situation, you got a veteran team in them, and they may need, obviously, real help here, and he's a viable backup. It's just that I just think when you hear this every day, you go, it's really not that big a controversy. Like, I think it's died down to the point where not a lot of people spend a lot of time thinking about this at all. Like, if tomorrow you wake up and it says, Ravens signed Kaepernick to back up Flacco, are we talking about that for nationally? Is that talked about for more than, well, ESPN will beat it to death. But
who's watching that middle of the day?
Yeah, middle of the day.
You know?
I'm just saying they'll beat it to death because they need something to talk about. But, I mean, realistically, just in terms of that being a story, it's not going to be a story for more than an hour. Oh, looks like they signed a backup quarterback. All right. Okay. That's about the end of that. I mean, it's just nothing else.
Tell you what's making me angry. I've been looking for this for the better part of a week, and I guess I've lost it with the old computer, an old one that got tossed.
Damn it, man. These old computers have been the bane of our existence lately.
Yeah. You know the championship koozie promo? I can't find it. I wanted to start rerunning it because we're playing Ala-freaking-Bama.
I don't think we lost the championship koozie.
And now
promo.
Jeff Cameron presents one fat loser after the other.
Right.
You know that one?
That's not gone.
It's bugging the hell out of me.
Why would that be gone?
Because it was in our old operating system. It wasn't on this current operating system that we have. It predates November, December 2013 when we changed over.
So everything we've ever done prior to coming here is gone?
No. Not the building. I'm talking the operating system. Remember we were running that garbage one?
Yeah.
When we first got over here? I think that was until about December, maybe December of 12.
Stork?
Yeah, Stork. Yeah, you remember Stork. Okay.
Yes, I remember Stork.
So we're on the new one, next gen. And I think the promo was on the old.
But I thought we tried to move over a lot of that audio.
I think we did a lot of it, but I'm still looking for it. It's been a week.
We'll find it.
Listeners must have it. I know I've sent it to at least 5 of you out there.
It may end up. Yeah, send it back to us. Now we need
Send
your
it back.
Send it back. We
There
need
you
the promo
go.
because
We
we're
need to
actually playing Alabama.
Yes.
College Game Day's 10 previous visits to Atlanta. How much do you remember these games? You ready? These are the 10 times, and they'll obviously confirm today. We'll be there again. See if you can remember all of these. Alabama 32, Georgia 28. That was December the 1st, 2012. That was the last time they were there. Boy, we won't forget that one.
What a great game that was. That was
incredible game.
A lot of running of the football.
Probably the end of the love for Mark Richt for Georgia fans there.
Bat the pass down, kid, when you're releasing in the flat.
So frustrating. December 3rd, 2011, LSU 42, Georgia 10. So the previous year they were there as well in that game and wore an ass beating. September the 4th, 2010, LSU 30, North Carolina 24. Don't really remember that game all that well.
That was a kickoff game?
That was September the 4th,
Okay.
yes, in 2010. And I think I should remember it because we all would have walked away from that game going, good on you, North Carolina, to hang in because the league wasn't what the league is now.
Yeah. I don't really remember it, though. Yeah.
December the 5th, 2009, Alabama 32, Florida 13. September the 5th, 2009, Alabama 34, Virginia Tech 24. Virginia Tech actually played well, hung in there, wasn't a debacle. December the 6th, 2008, Florida 31, Alabama 20. Sadly, we all remember that.
Yeah, I think Riley Cooper had a big catch in that game.
August 30th, 2008, Alabama 34, Clemson 10. 2006, Notre Dame 14, Georgia Tech 10. That was in September.
Good God.
Hideous game. December the 4th, Auburn 38, Tennessee 28. And then finally, that was in 2004. And then finally, and I think we do remember this, right? October 24th, 1998, Florida State 34, Georgia Tech 7. Those are the last, the previous 10 visits to Atlanta for College Game Day. They'll make this next one, obviously, this year.
Wow, that's it. It feels like they've been there a lot more, but I guess not. Those are the numbers. Those are the facts.
Do you also know, speaking of numbers and facts, that as of tomorrow, NBC, 8 o'clock Thursday, the NFL's traditional Hall of Fame game preseason opener between the Dallas Cowboys and Arizona Cardinals. It is obviously an NFL game featuring what some would say NFL-like action. And the return of the season is truly what you're celebrating. But I will say, earlier this week, Cardinals coach Bruce Arians announced that not one of his starters, not a single one, will take the field in Canton. Neither will his second-string quarterback nor the veteran cornerback whom the team signed on Sunday. Nobody who's anybody is going to be on that field for Arizona. Meanwhile, Dallas said, we'll wait and see. I'm not real sure who we're going to run out there just yet, but we're going to wait and see.
This is why the Hall of Fame should probably just hold, and maybe there's some kind of thing with the city that this particular weekend is in the books, historically speaking, but you add a fifth preseason game to the ledger for these teams. This is not the first of their 4 preseason games, and that's why you're getting that response. If this was a ceremony held a week later and the first preseason game out of 4 was what Arizona and Dallas were taking part in, then you'd see actual players, and they had the problem of the frozen
field last year.
Yeah, so they built a new stadium.
The field's fine now. They said it's ready to go.
They spent $600 million to get this thing right, to make sure that this...
Well, in fairness, they were going to have to fix that field anyhow. They were going to have to do something anyhow.
Well, the other thing is they moved it to Thursday, so they didn't have fans trampling on the field because they hold the ceremonies on the football field.
Right.
So that makes matters worse for, playing a game the day after when you have people trampling all over the grass. That's not good for it. I mean, just see any stadium when they do a concert, the week of a football game. But, I guess the owners don't want one of their 2 home gates to be taken away from them on a given year.
Mm-hmm.
What if you had this? Nobody is in support of a 5th preseason game. That's why
of course not.
Arians, what he's doing is going to be the norm.
Yeah, and really, honestly, it doesn't anger me. It's not enough to create ire because we don't watch that game to see any real semblance of elite-level football being played. I mean, we really basically watch that game because it signifies the return, the official return of the NFL. I mean, from that point forward, as I noted last week, within a week you have 9 football games being played, and you have starters in some of those on the field. And so basically it's just a celebration of a season that returns in an official capacity starting tomorrow. And just uttering that, just saying that aloud right now on the airwaves kind of puts a pep in your step. They're playing football tomorrow night. You can watch it. NFL teams will be out there.
You can say no, but you can watch it if you want.
You can watch it if that's your thing. If you want to watch bad football with players you've never heard of, tackling one another, you're that starved, you can tune in and watch it. And every year, what do we say? And I better do it again just for tradition's sake. I'm going to watch it. It sounds like something I should watch. I'm even kind of excited to watch. 30 seconds into the game, I'll be reminded that bad football is not worth watching. Bad football is just bad football. Just like other things that are bad. You don't sit around consuming those. You go, this is bad. I don't like this. I'm not going to watch this. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to drink that. It's bad. But I will tomorrow convince myself that I have to sit down and watch it. I'll turn it on. I'll watch for about 5 minutes. I go, this sucks. And I'll flip it off. But it's every year.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Dave, going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
All you have to do is wait a second, your hands on the clock.
This hot track is missing something ice cold. Nothing refreshes like an ice-cold Pepsi. Pepsi. Crisp, smooth, refreshing, delicious. Grab a Pepsi today.
Hey, she's got that green applesauce pouch again. Jenny, want these chips?
I've got cookies. Guys, you know I don't trade my Go-Go Squeeze. Seriously, no one asked their mom yet?
I did, sorta.
You just gotta remember the name, Go-Go Squeeze. Let her know it's delicious. 100% fruit with no bad stuff and totally good for you.
What's it called again?
Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze. Made with 100% fruit and no artificial anything. Goodness on the go. Find it in the applesauce aisle today.
Tallahassee Sports Authority.
Your station is the great tower of filth mentioned in the book of Revelation.
This is Tallahassee Sports Authority, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Bill's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Bill's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
This is Adrienne Lawrence. Updates on the Ravens Kaepernick debacle. General Manager Ozzie Newsome says owner Steve Bisciotti is not blocking Baltimore from signing quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Earlier today, sources told ESPN's Diana Rossini that Newsome and coach John Harbaugh have met resistance from the Ravens owner when it came to signing Cap. Injury updates on the gridiron. A broken collarbone has Texans wideout Will Fuller out indefinitely, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter, who also says that Rams defensive tackle Dominique Easley is out for the season with a torn ACL. In the NFC East, coming off a promising rookie season, Giants receiver Sterling Shepard was carted off the practice field today with what looks to be a leg injury. On the court, 76ers center Joel Embiid tells ESPN's Mark Spears that he's going to be ready for camp. Embiid has played in just 31 games during his first 3 seasons in the NBA due to foot and knee injuries. In baseball, the Phillies won't have Pete Rose participate in the Phillies Alumni Weekend festivities next week after all. This comes after a woman says in a court filing that Rose had a sexual relationship with her before she was 16 back in the 70s.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So that anonymous coach input regarding the ACC team strengths, weaknesses, all that good stuff. We did Boston College just because I think I identified Jimbo Fisher quite clearly. I don't know if that was him or not for sure, but I think it was. This is what somebody said, an anonymous coach in the ACC said about Florida State. They're going to be really good. I like anything that starts that way.
That's good to know.
Getting Derwin James back off the injury solidifies their defense. The biggest limitation is at linebacker, but Matthew Thomas can be as good as there is in the country. Coaches love to say about that, as good as there is in the country thing. Offensively, they're very average up front. Damn it, man. I am so tired of hearing that every year. Especially losing Rod Johnson early, which I know caught their staff by surprise. They're not as good on the offensive line as they were a few years ago. And you saw that with how many times quarterback DeAndre Francois got hit last year. He took a beating, kept getting up, and showed tremendous courage. From an ability standpoint, he's got the whole package. If you're an NFL team, you probably wish he was 6'4", but his arm talent is tremendous. As tough as he is, they have to be concerned with keeping him healthy because their number 2 quarterback is a huge question mark. You think? At running back, people are going to see they got a special guy in Cam Akers. I think he's every bit as fast as Dalvin Cook. No, he's not. But he's probably more fluid athlete. So this guy's basically saying he's just as fast as Dalvin Cook and more fluid. So this guy believes, whoever this is, that he's better than Dalvin Cook. And maybe he is. Come on.
Not playing the odds, friend.
My man, if that happens, the rest of the ACC, and in particular Miami, are going to hate our ass.
Miami will, because Dalvin didn't do us a world of good to win a national title. But, yes.
I mean, think about how many times he just destroyed that poor team. And now if Cam comes right behind him, they're like, well, this does never end. Devontae Freeman, and even Chris Thompson.
Yeah,
they just keep killing us with their running backs.
Well, you got some Miami loving for a few years. How about some Mississippi burning? Here I come for you.
Good Lord. That's tough for anybody to swallow, but especially down in Miami. That's a toughie. I think he's every bit as fast as Dalvin Cook, but probably a more fluid athlete. Cook had the acceleration, but I think Akers in the long run can do more things, catching the ball out of the backfield, more natural fit for that offense. I think he can be good right off the bat.
I agree.
Well, that part I agree with. I think he can be good right off the bat.
On that Cam Akers train, as long as he doesn't hold the ball like a loaf of bread.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. You want Louisville next? Because that's one I want next, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm glad that you want them next. It's always hard to project Louisville because they're kind of a hodgepodge collection of people that they get 4 or 5 JUCO kids nobody knows about, but it all goes back to Lamar Jackson. Wait a minute. That's a nice way of saying they'll take anybody. And most of the time we do know about those guys because they've been in the police blotter. I think the thing that really showed up is people initially thought, we can't blitz Lamar because of his feet. But at the end of the day, the blitz is what wrecked his world. I think you go back and look very closely at what Todd Orlando did for Houston against them on that Thursday night. It just absolutely blew them up. This guy couldn't wait to say that, huh? They had issues up front, and people finally figured out how you had to play them. Recipe-wise, if you sit back and play zone and you just worry about the rush lanes, that's just playing right into his hands. People will play them differently out of the gates this year, and it's going to put a lot of stress on their offensive line to protect him better. Tempo really hurt them on defense, so we'll see how they adjust. New defensive coordinator Peter Sirmon is from Justin Wilcox tree, but he really got blasted by a couple of guys in the SEC while he was at Mississippi State that I didn't think were very good on offense. He's speaking to the holes Louisville has, and they do, and you feel like in any given game, any one scenario, that kid is good enough to almost personally beat you and really pick you apart and make plays and make guys miss even when you call the right defense, and what was going to be a negative play becomes a first down, and that gets infinitely frustrating. And you'll see that enough times during the course of the year where you just, all you can do is tip your cap and say, you know what, he's too good. But other times, the inconsistencies up front, the problems they have on defense, and then at times his inability to throw accurately, consistently from the pocket, all adds up to a long night. And again, he's right to point out the Houston game, but you saw it against Virginia some. You saw it against Duke. So you saw things that kind of made you think, why can't we do that with better athletes?
Well, I don't care that they scored points. They lost to Kentucky, too. If you're capable of losing to Kentucky, that says something. So I'll be interested to see. Color me curious after that statement about the blitz rate. And let's see how many teams get up to the line of scrimmage and dare Lamar Jackson, or they bring exotics. What does it look like?
Well, it got me excited about our game because you can bring an individual that might not get juked out of his shoes. He may have the ability to change directions right along with him.
You might have one or two of them, yeah.
So that could be interesting. About Miami, again, these are ACC coaches speaking anonymously in describing the conference this year and the teams in it. I gave you, right off the bat, Boston College, because I wanted to hear what they said about my man Adazio. But from there, I've given you Louisville, and I gave you Florida State, of course. Here's Miami. They lost their quarterback, their best receiver, and a big-time tailback, but they're still probably the most talented team in their division. They didn't expect Brad Kaya to go to the draft, and he kind of blindsided them. So, okay, who's up next? It'll be a little bit of a wait-and-see thing with the quarterback position. Well, I mean, again, I may be in the minority here. I never thought Brad Kaya was any good. And there are statistics that you could use that would counter my argument that he wasn't very good. How many games of note, of significance, did Brad Kaya play well in that they won? There's none. You can't find a meaningful game that they've won when Brad Kaya was at quarterback.
Not unless you're talking about coastal races.
And they didn't win that. So
no, but I mean they beat Pitt, and that was a Pitt team that beat Penn State. And
Pitt
beat
didn't
Clemson.
play defense, so yeah, okay, fair. But there aren't wins of significance in the Brad Kaya era. They don't exist.
Yeah, the fact that you have to say Pitt,
right.
Yeah.
And I would also note that in the biggest moments in that guy's career, he made bonehead throws, and I always waited on it. They should have beat us more than once. And that interception to McFadden last year when they're on the 20-yard line about to put the game away.
Oh, yeah, that was it. That was lights out.
Well, I mean, what are you doing here? But he has throws like that all the time. That was my big knock on him. I don't think – my point would be this. It's actually in defense of Miami. I don't think it's a big loss. I don't think even if you don't know who your guy's going to be, and right now they start camp without knowing for sure who their guy's going to be, I think Miami comes in no worse off. From an experience standpoint, I'll grant you, it can take time to get your feet underneath you, and it hurts them that early in the year they have to come up here and play that game with a new quarterback.
Their first real game, yeah.
But I'm just, again, going to say this. If they came up here with Brad Kaya, would you have any faith that he was going to get it done here? No, you wouldn't.
Probably not. I'd be more worried if he was their quarterback than what
just
they have right now.
Just because of the experience?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit like a really experienced Ja'Cory Harris sorry ass coming up here. I mean,
but he didn't get the extra point blocked either. He did make a big throw on fourth down against us down the stretch, and then he did because we squandered a lot of opportunities in the first half a couple years ago.
Opportunities, yes.
I mean, he did make a couple of big throws, one of which was to Berrios.
I'm not saying he was useless.
That's why I'm arguing for Week 3's purposes. I'm happier that they have a kid I've never heard of versus unless they start the Perry kid.
I prefer the inexperience to the experience. Sure, I agree with you. I just don't think it's some huge loss to lose a guy that never won a game of any significance in his entire. They talked about him like he had done something. He'd never done anything.
That Pitt game was pretty big.
Outside of quarterback, they bring back more experience than anybody in the division, so that will be key. They played a bunch of freshmen last year all over the field, so they've got some guys who can step in, and they're recruiting well. Towards the end, I love how that's kind of like toward the end of the season, they were playing good fundamental football, and it really showed in the bowl game. I think it will help those guys to be in the second year of this system. Manny Diaz does a nice job defensively, but he's a total gimmick guy. He wants to try to prove to people that he's brilliant. He's got some really nice pieces, but they're too gimmicky for my taste. They have good. Is this Jimbo?
Jimbo. Hello.
They have good young pass rushers. That's probably the strongest part of their team. Yep. Demetrius Jackson is nice, and so is Quarterman. And he notes this. Demetrius Jackson's kid is special. Quarterman was really good for a freshman. Miami will be pretty good. Yeah, I think they will be too.
That's either Boston College or Florida State, I think. I could see Adazio saying, he's too gimmicky for my taste. He wants to prove to the world he's brilliant.
I think it's funny that
I say have a pastry and play man's football.
Play man's football. I agree with you, Adazio.
Why are you trying to trick me? You got great linebackers.
Well, it's true. The better players you have, then, you don't have to get gimmicky. You don't have to do all that stuff. Let's read Clemson before we go to break. In my time in college football, I've played a lot of people, but that Clemson team last year, dadgum, they were good, and their staff does a damn good job. They have creative ways to get people touches, and if you're a good player, you will touch the ball. With defensive coordinator Brent Venables, you wonder how he gets it installed week to week because he changes so much. He morphs. They really copycat what stops you. So if somebody else gave you fits with anything, you're going to see it when you play Clemson, and not a lot of people can do that. Now, they steal your signals. People don't want to talk about that, but the teams that gave them fits were NC State and Pitt because they huddled. I don't think that's a coincidence. It's not a very well-kept secret either, but it didn't matter. They could have told us what was coming on every play, and they would have whipped us. Their defensive front is a problem. They grow them on trees, but they develop them too. Dexter Lawrence, I hope he decides to take the next 2 years off. They're all right in the secondary, but they grab better than anybody else. So they're really grabby, and they always have been, and that is something that's interesting that he brought up. I love the anonymous interviews with the coaches because they tell you what they really think. That's all at once filled with praise for their coaching staff, certainly for Venables and his ability to adapt on the fly to things that give you fits. But it's also damning because these are complaints of teams throughout the conference and have been for some time. They steal your signals. That is true. They're grabby in the secondary. These are things that Fisher will tell refs before the game, the second part especially. Watch them, they're grabby. And so it's interesting. Does that get called closer? Is that something that's looked at more now that that reputation is kind of cemented?
I've never noted us huddling in those games. I'm just thinking back. I'll have to look at it closely this year to see, especially on the road. I mean, that's really tough.
Pretty cool observation, right?
Yeah. From a steal.
I just
can't
like
be us.
I like the line. Now, they'll steal your signals.
They're aware of stealing signals. That can't be us.
It might be.
I don't know.
But it's true. The thing that whoever this is, the thing that he said here that does come to mind is that, man, with that defensive line already, constantly with kids that you're like, well, good Lord, that dude's different. That's manhandling stuff right there. That's just wrong.
Lawrence as a freshman was just.
I don't need all of that.
Maybe that's what Marvin Wilson can be. I mean, from the interior and where they go, well, good God, where did they get this kid from?
Right.
You got Naughty and Christmas, then you throw this dude at us?
Bastards. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
When dawn's barely here, a choir of birds singing in your ear. It was cute at first, but now it's just the worst. Wrap it up, guys. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
When you've had a morning, let us make you breakfast, like Taco Bell's Breakfast Crunch Wrap. A whole breakfast wrapped up and grilled to eat on the go. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Know what time it is? It's back to school time. You remember school, right? It's that place you go that's exciting, frustrating, fun, weird, and hopefully a safe place full of friends because friends lift each other up. Want to throw someone at school a compliment? Well, Three Musketeers makes it easy to help you throw shine, not shade, with positive messages right on the packaging that tell somebody that they're one of a kind and that they're awesome. So, grab your friend a Three Musketeers bar with that light whipped up chocolate and give them a pickup at school right when they need it.
All you have to do is wait a second, your hands on the clock.
This hot track is missing something ice cold. Nothing refreshes like an ice cold Pepsi. Pepsi. Crisp, smooth, refreshing, delicious. Grab a Pepsi today.
Hey, she's got that green applesauce pouch again. Ginny, want these chips?
I've got cookies. Guys, you know I don't trade my Go-Go Squeeze. Seriously, no one asked their mom yet?
I did, sorta.
You just gotta remember the name, Go-Go Squeeze. Let her know it's delicious. 100% fruit with no bad stuff and totally good for you.
What's it called again?
Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze. Made with 100% fruit and no artificial anything. Goodness on the go. Find it in the applesauce aisle today.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Bandito's Burritos, my friend?
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You know what I want to look at? I want to guess. I want you to guess. I'll get more into this next hour. Not like a lengthy diatribe on this. Do you think you could guess, since it's a short segment, I'll just ask you the top 10. You think you could guess the top 50 player sales list? The NFLPA came out with their list, and they're released quarterly by NFL Players Inc., which is the marketing and licensing arm of the NFL. So it's on total overall sales of all licensed products from online and traditional retail outlets. So you have things like bobbleheads and all this other stuff. And from what I can tell, obviously it helps to play for the Cowboys. It helps to be Tom Brady. But do you think you could name the vast majority of the top 10 in terms of player sales list?
Maybe. I think Gronk would be on there, wouldn't he?
He's not in the top 10, surprisingly.
When you bring up bobbleheads and all that other kind
all
of
that
stuff.
kind of crazy crap. Yeah. No. Okay. So they're.
So no. Then I can't.
I think you. Okay. So look, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay, Dak Prescott.
Cowboys. Anything,
I got you.
Anything Cowboys. But Des Bryant's also in the top 10 because Jason Witten's in the top 10.
Oh God, then what are we doing?
Cowboys.
Jason Witten's in the top 10.
Right. Cowboys. Give me my here's a better question. Give me the non-Cowboys in the top 10.
Well,
Tom Brady. Yeah.
Julio Jones?
No.
Well, he should be.
People don't care about Julio
This is
Jones.
stupid. I hate this list already.
I'm just thinking about this. I don't think a lot of people care about Julio Jones. He's elite, but he plays in Atlanta, and until last year, I don't think people even really care.
J.J. Watt?
J.J. Watt is not in the top 10, but he is in the top 20.
This is a dumb list.
This
is just stupid. What, Ben Roethlisberger?
Is not in the list.
Antonio Brown?
He is. And hey, we got one. Now, there's one you're leaving out that you're going to get.
I'm sure I would. Or what position?
Wide receiver.
Okay. A.J. Green?
Odell Beckham Jr., buddy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
He's outselling Julio Jones? Why? Because he dances in a net?
He dances. He's controversial. He made that catch.
Dances in a kicking net. There you go.
Aaron Rodgers is in the top 10.
That's what Julio needs to do. He needs to dance in a kicking net.
Russell Wilson is on that list.
What a joke.
It's just... You know who would surprise you that's on the list at all?
Kaepernick's on the list.
Yeah, he's in the top 50. He's well down the list, but he is on the list. He's 39th. There's some names that you would be stunned by. I'm like, well, that's just a crazy fan base. Seattle fans are crazy. Tyler Lockett is on the list.
What?
Final hour forthcoming. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
America's #1 public utility says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Are you an experienced tree worker, arborist, or climber? Wouldn't you like a great full-time job? Hi, I'm Mike Cross of ArborWorks Tree Care and Removal, and I'd like to meet you. ArborWorks has served this community since 2002. We use new, state-of-the-art equipment, and we offer competitive hourly pay plus overtime. So if you are a tree worker, an arborist, or a climber, this is the opportunity for you. Call me at 228-6738. That's 228-6738. ArborWorks Tree Care and Removal.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
This is Adrienne Lawrence. Updates on the Ravens Kaepernick debacle. General Manager Ozzie Newsome says owner Steve Bisciotti is not blocking Baltimore from signing quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Earlier today, sources told ESPN's Diana Rossini that Newsome and coach John Harbaugh have met resistance from the Ravens owner when it came to signing Cap. Injury updates on the gridiron. A broken collarbone has Texans wideout Will Fuller out indefinitely, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter, who also says that Rams defensive tackle Dominique Easley is out for the season with a torn ACL. In the NFC East, coming off a promising rookie season, Giants receiver Sterling Shepard was carted off the practice field today with what looks to be a leg injury. On the court, 76ers center Joel Embiid tells ESPN's Mark Spears that he's going to be ready for camp. Embiid has played in just 31 games during his first 3 seasons in the NBA due to foot and knee injuries. In baseball, the Phillies won't have Pete Rose participate in the Phillies Alumni Weekend festivities next week after all. This comes after a woman says in a court filing that Rose had a sexual relationship with her before she was 16 back in the 70s.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least 4 today. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well. Fine Ballsmick Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. You don't have to miss anything, but if you do, I got you. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program. That's done so with limited commercial interruption. Thanks to our great podcast sponsor, Carlton Dean, and the fine folks at Southland Commercial. CarltonDean.com. Learn more about commercial real estate, even off-market deals. Email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app for mobile devices. And, of course, you can find us on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. Go there, and you can watch the show performed. Florida State, day 2, getting started. And, I don't know what, and they're not even in shells. I mean, they're out there in T-shirt and shorts, what I expect to get. Yesterday is actually much more exciting than day 2, not just because it's the start of something, but because it's your first chance to see the incoming freshmen, and you get a glimpse of how they match up, how they fit in, how they look compared to some of the other starters that are out there, and you wonder about their ability to make an impact. Of course, Jimbo was asked about the incoming freshmen during the press conference, and he didn't want to put anybody under the gun, per se. He didn't want to put a lot of pressure on anybody, but most of this fan base was fairly in awe of the size of Marvin Wilson. And it's funny to see a big man like that wearing that number. What is he, 21?
Yeah.
So it's weird.
And he's just,
it's just weird seeing that. Kane Doe also, big guy, fast guy, quick guy. So I guess you might end up seeing, couple it with all the things Jimbo said about young guys needing to push the veterans and how frustrated he must have been with some of those veterans a year ago. Yeah, maybe we get more out of these incoming freshmen than you traditionally expect.
You know, Kane Dobb was somebody that we thought we could really rally behind.
Yeah.
Remember, he was at the IPF for one of the infamous practices, the one where we saw the quarterback battle between Jameis and Coker, and even Clint Trickett could spin it, and so could
Sean McGuire.
Trickett was gone.
McGuire was throwing the ball well, yeah.
Hey, McGuire can spin it.
Yeah.
But Dobb was there, and we thought, here we go. We got a guy with the name Kane. Could it be the Kane Doe, actually, is the one we've been waiting for all these years?
It didn't work out, and we had that clip. Can we use it now? It's rare that a clip that you have, particularly for one player, survives long enough to be around and to be able to seize the opportunity to perhaps utilize it again with a guy that can actually play.
Why should you believe me? Because Kane told me so. That's why you should believe me.
Never gets old. He's dead.
He is.
He is dead.
I wonder who carried his casket.
He is dead. Oof. Somebody strong.
I didn't mean it from that way. Who was the pallbearer, for Paul Bearer.
Somebody strong.
Maybe Kane Doe.
Maybe. Somebody strong for sure. All right, so given that NFL camps are underway as well, given that, speaking of which, man, Jay Ajayi, you saw that already? Sustained a concussion. Dolphins fans are like, no, not, what are we doing? Just got started. He's going to miss at least a week of drills and maybe more. And that's not the only injury Miami has to manage right now. They're waiting a second opinion on their rookie receiver, Isaiah Ford. He had an examination that revealed that he has meniscus damage already, might require surgery. Now, if that's confirmed, it would cost him all of training camp, preseason, possibly land him on the injured reserve list. Bad news, first couple days of camp out of Miami. Ajayi was the fourth leading rusher last year, and I might note, career high, 262 carries. He caught 27 passes. He didn't miss a single game, and this is a running back, single game due to injury in 2016. That's bad news.
Yeah, also up north, the Giants obviously are loaded for bear in the passing game.
Shepard got hurt.
Sterling Shepard went down, and reports were that he was in pain and crying on the field.
Carted off the field.
Carted off. Yeah, that's never a good thing either.
Well, and I'm checking in on Atlanta and Jacksonville and Tampa Bay. The Bucs camp has largely been about some spectacular catches and inclement weather with Tropical Storm Emily causing a lot of problems, wreaking havoc. There are a lot of great PR coming out of Tampa Bay, not just because that's what the teams are going to continue to push, but Jameis, look, you're going to get tired of me saying it, but you can find it almost any given day, him going above and beyond what's necessary. I think this is the part of Hard Knocks that I get excited about. What are we, 6 days away from that now? I get excited about that now because people are going to get to know him better. They're going to get to see, we know him, and we're defensive about the way he's been portrayed and the things that people outside this market and maybe outside the state think about him without real recognition of the facts. I'm excited because what is true is that if you roll cameras and you have him anywhere near the building, near the facility, on the practice field, it's not just that he's a good player. He's always doing good things, and primarily for kids. And they're catching that now. And it's funny the way they're promoting that. We've asked for a long time when you would get a sea change, when you'd see this shift in attitude. I don't know that it's going to completely win everybody over, but I think that's more of legitimately who he is. And I can't get enough of it. The NFL should be propping that up. You want your stars, your really talented players at the most important position on the field, quarterback in this case, to be stars, to be good from a PR standpoint, to represent the shield, as they're always talking about the right way. His first 2 seasons in Tampa Bay have been nothing but, really, to me, the most perfect of displays of what you want from quarterbacks, first-round picks, guys that you want to put as a face on the league, right, on the shield. That's what he's done. This will further that, I do believe. Now, you knock on wood, but there are no indicators that there's going to be anything other than continued goodwill and positive feedback by the actions of one Jameis Winston.
Well, and it's contagious, too. And, it's not to say that Gerald McCoy wouldn't do it on his own anyway, but he and other players have been seen and spotted after practice that when the Hard Knocks cameras get shelved away, there they are, still interacting with fans and signing any autograph you want, taking any picture you want. That's the kind of thing in general. I mean, it's what Florida State does to a degree with Fan Day, which we'll be celebrating on Sunday. But it's the outreach. You got to have a personal touch. And if you can have a personal touch while coming across as genuine, it's all the more powerful.
You're reminded, too, because I'm one of those people that's admitted over the years, when you look at some of the problems the NFL has had from the commissioner on down, that it's very easy to get jaded, very easy to feel less of an investment, especially if you're inclined to be more of a big-time college football fan, and because everybody's got ties to a university or a city where the university is at the very least, or maybe they're childhood fans, whatever it might be. But it's hard to, because you feel like a lot of times you are just rooting for laundry when you root for an NFL team or a Major League Baseball team or whatever. And you know the owners just as soon leave to make more money somewhere else than to stay and be loyal to a community in a lot of cases. That's not true in the NHL, which is very community-based. And if you got good owners like Tampa Bay does, then they invest back in the community, those kinds of things. But when you get a player who's got charisma and he's talented and he invests in the community that he plays in, and he goes to the schools that are in the surrounding area, the Bay Area in this case, the Tampa Bay area, and you know effort's not a problem, and you know work ethic is not a problem, and you see it and you watch it consistently, even if you're inclined to maybe be less passionate about NFL, that will win you over. And I know I'm inclined to do it because it is who he is, and he's a Knoll and all that. Man, I love that he's embraced Tampa Bay. I mean, you wanted that. He's your franchise quarterback. You wanted him to be of the community, to be seen in the community frequently, to be out doing those things, not just being great at football. And he has. And all teams want that, in particular if you draft a quarterback. That's not just biased to Jameis. Everybody wants that. And I'm not saying Marcus Mariota doesn't do that with the Titans. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know. But he's a good kid. I'm sure he's doing his part too. You just hope when you sign a guy to a big number contract like that and you invest at that position and you say he's our franchise, that they'll do this. And when you see it, it causes you to be a little bit more passionate, a little bit emotionally invested in a pro team that you otherwise would just, that's my city, that's where I'm from, I root for him.
And you could be on balance about it, too. We have been talking about a couple weeks ago, who are you sure of in professional sports? Like, who are you sure of that's on the up and up? You can't really say anybody. I posited that Chris Thompson was somebody I feel pretty strongly about.
That what you see is what you get.
That what you see is what you get.
Who you think he is. Good guy, hard worker, nothing going to come out about him that would shock you.
Sure. And, I think we push back, obviously, because we know for a fact, given the access that we get, that there has been a mischaracterization of who Jameis Winston, the person, is.
Yes, big time.
Up to the point that we can know. You know what? You see what I'm saying?
Not hanging out with him on a daily basis, right? Yeah,
right. But everybody, we got close to his family members at different times. I'm not saying we're texting him every week or anything like that, but at different points along the way, we've known people that have grown up with him, people that have raised him, people that have helped raise or coach him.
Well, you won't.
The word has always been the same.
You won't find a former coach, former teammate, and anybody that he's ever known in great depth that has a negative word to say about him. That includes Coach Martin, who everybody thinks the world of. That includes, obviously, Jimbo Fisher. That includes his teammates here. That includes the administrators and people that had to deal with him on a regular basis in the athletic department at Florida State.
Equipment managers.
Right. Bullpen catchers. I mean, everybody. I've gotten to know, I wouldn't say I'm friends with, but I've gotten to know the director of communications for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we've had off-the-record conversations where if he was going to share with me foibles and problems that Jameis Winston presents, he would tell me. But he's talked about at length how it is that the franchise is not only over the moon for him, but how much they love that he makes it very easy. Hard Knocks, and I want to get back to that point, will be able to, I think, highlight this, and it will be good for him. It will be good for the Bucs. Could also be very, very entertaining at the very least. There are real pressures now. I mean, I didn't mean to start this as an NFL segment to lead the hour, but the Bucs have real. I mean, today you had John Gruden talking about the expectations in Tampa Bay and how there's real momentum there for the first time in a long time. And that the expectation is continued growth, and you got to perform, and you can't take people for granted. The talent is undeniable, but you got to keep getting better. And when you look around the league, tomorrow night's the first game. The Hall of Fame game gets underway tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. It's football. I know the starters aren't going to be out there, but it is the official return of NFL football. When you think about those players that have gone on to have magical careers, that have been perennial all-pro players and guys that someday we'll talk about going to the Hall of Fame in the case of obviously Tom Brady and others, it's the consistency, it's the thriving to get better, it's all those things.
Well, you know how in high school towns where high school football is king, if you have somebody go on to be a Heisman Trophy winner or All-Pro, Hall of Fame or whatever, that person's name is on the sign when you enter the town.
Right,
it's like home of whomever.
Yeah.
And in the same way, I think, and I've just been watching this, I've been doing a little bit more on the social media front for, the website and the Facebook page and stuff. And in posting articles about Knowles that headed off to the pros and where they are, be it Jameis or Dalvin or any number, Anquan Bolden, other players, Knowles fans are interested. People are listening to the station and are, Facebook liked of the page. I kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit as I talk about that part of it.
Yeah, it's tough.
They're interested in that kind of stuff. It's almost like instead of a town being proud of a town product, Knowles are proud, even if they might not be the biggest NFL fans, of their own, going and doing bigger, better things on Sundays.
Sure.
And they'll care enough to click on that article or look at that highlight tape or invest in following the Bucs in a way they wouldn't follow them before, or now the Vikings with Dalvin Cook. I'll bet there's going to be a lot more eyeballs on TV sets to see how good Dalvin Cook really is at the next level this year.
Cool thing is they play each other, a game you're going to go up to on that Sunday, and that's a new stadium. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And
I mean, Jameis is going to throw against Xavier Rhodes, who just got paid by the Vikings.
And, that's one aspect of the press conference yesterday in which Jimbo was asked about whether or not he caught wind of or read about the contract that Xavier Rhodes signed and how much money he's made, and $41 million of that contract is guaranteed. He's now one of the 4 highest paid corners in all of football, and he beamed when he talked about Xavier Rhodes because of the selflessness and the dedication. All I could think about, and I know he downplayed it because he said, hey, he put the work in, and that was smart of Coach to say because it's true. But that is one of the stronger elements of Coach Fisher's game. We all know this, and that is projecting players, looking at a player, looking at body type, looking at the attributes they bring to the table when he's recruiting them while they're in high school, and projecting what they could be. And there are guys that you look at where, we've got great stories as to him going to a school to look for a player and then seeing another player and going, that who's that? In the case of Freeman, that's exactly what happens, right? He's not even the starting running back when he's down there looking at him, and he goes, that's the guy. I want to look at him. Well, what he saw in him was great balance. He saw that the huge trunk, the body type, and the ability, and he could see what he was going to be. And Xavier Rhodes, this is a kid. He says you need to switch to the defensive side of the ball. I want you to play corner. At your length, your size, your ability to change direction, I mean, you're going to make a lot of money at the next level. And there was resistance. He didn't want to do it. And you understand why players don't want to switch positions. But then he trusts him, and he does it. And now he just got paid, and he and his family and many generations after, if he's careful, will never have to work again, which is great, at least in terms of the money he brought in. He's obviously got to go earn the contract, but he's got $41 million guaranteed. And I would think that just moving forward, when you look at it from FSU's perspective and taking advantage of your coach's strengths, well, I mean, he's got a lot of examples where, that switch has helped guys go make money.
I think the interesting thing about this weekend and Sunday and Media Day is who's going to be that guy that people are going to latch on to.
There's always a guy. You're right.
But really, as we head into it, and today we put in our request for coaches and players, I'm thinking to myself, everybody loves Derwin James, and Derwin loves to be a Knoll, and I think that's probably the answer here. But there are some players that, for whatever reason, the fan base really attaches themselves to, and they root for that guy like crazy. They might not be the best player of the 22 that are starting, or sometimes they may not even be a starter. They may be a role player.
Sure.
But they love the hell out of him. Like Lonnie Pryor's not playing in the league, but everybody loved the hell out of Lonnie Pryor.
My man.
You included.
Yes.
That was your guy.
That was my guy.
Who's going to be that next person, that next personality that people say, man, now that guy's just a Knoll? Because that means a hell of a lot.
It does, and I also think the people that, you don't have to be the best player. I mean, listen, Sean McGuire was really, really well received and liked because of how hard he worked and how many times it was his turn and then it didn't work out, and he had to go back to being a backup, and he didn't ever say a negative word about Florida State, about the coaches, about his situation. He never exuded, at least publicly, frustration. He just played his role right and continued to work. Those guys win fans over very easily, and understandably so. If you're a special teams maven, and that's just what you do, you're reckless, you throw your caution to the wind, and you go down and make plays on special teams, you can win people over. So it's hard to answer that question, but Fisher talked a lot about special teams and guys finding roles. He loves finding guys roles early in their career. If they're just great athletes, he'll do it early on.
Well, here's one for you. Everybody loved Kenny Shaw. Kenny Shaw put his body on the line for the program. It seemed every week. I mean, it was a do-or-die catch, and he didn't care. He wouldn't short-arm it. He would go and he'd take a wallop in the chest.
Yeah, if you'll take a shot. Man.
Well, who's our Kenny Shaw? Who's that person going to be?
Well, Kenny Shaw was so undersized. That was a big element of what was happening there. He'd go across the middle, and he's a tiny guy, and he'd put his body at risk, and he got knocked the hell out and blown up on numerous occasions, going back to the Oklahoma game, et cetera.
Oh, that was scary.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. But against Florida on 3rd and forever, those kinds of plays. Thankfully, we don't have somebody that small right now at that position that you would look at as sort of a Rocky-esque underdog where you go, man, I can't believe he does that. You got some size there now.
But who's going to be the selfless one? I think that's what I'm driving at here.
Yeah, sure. God, on this team, it's hard to say. I don't think I can name somebody. Who's the selfless one on this team?
Maybe Nate Andrews?
I'll be honest with you. The guy whose heart stands out the most is DeAndre Francois. Your quarterback can absolutely be the guy that we're talking about because this fan base loves that kid for good reason, and I hope he's beloved in the locker room and assume he is. I know Jimbo is very high on him. Nobody should keep getting up after the shots he took last year. The Miami game alone, and rewatching that game with the cheap shots, that game alone, I couldn't help but think, my God, that kid, that is tough as nails. Just go watch the throw at the end of the half against Ole Miss and the shot he takes there. And that happened on the regular with that kid. And every time he got back up. And if he left, it wasn't for long, and he was back out there, that's the dude that wins everybody over. I think we go high profile here because you got no choice if you're the starting quarterback at Florida State, but be high profile. But the heart that you're describing, that's the guy. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in Southern Georgia.